I need more bullets.
Well, I hope you're all happy. Now, can we stop saying I look like the bullets man? It's not even close.
I need more bullets!
Everything you see in front of you is 3D printed, even me, technically. And I have a lasgun, but don't worry, at the end of this project, so will you. For I have set out with a goal to put a lasgun in the hands of anyone brave enough to join the 69th Regiment through the magic of 3D printing. Now, if you're watching this and you're wondering what a Guardsman is and what a lasgun is, then don't tell your friends you watch this, they won't think you're cool anymore. But to give you some context, let's take a trip to the Garden of Bad Explaining.
Imagine you're a completely expendable number in a machine. So, you work at Walmart, for example, but instead of having to stack shelves and deal with the general public, you are fighting aliens. And you'll probably die at some point. Hello, speaking of aliens, what is this?
And a lasgun is a laser gun. Biggest problem I have is I want to showcase everything I'm going to make at the UK's biggest airsoft festival. However, I only learned Fusion 360 about a week ago, and I've got about 8 days left until it starts. So... Now, I don't know if you can hear the rain outside. However, it's raining a lot. Like a lot. So this is going to get trashed day one. I don't need any protection from the rain. No, because the Emperor protects. And that's the name of my umbrella.
This is about as wet as it gets. Today is going to be an absolute nightmare.
Due to the lack of time I had in preparation for this event, I have had no time to test any of it. So how do I know any of it's going to work? Well, the answer to that is, I don't.
I got someone doing that. Contact.
Yeah, over. The base for the lasgun is an M4 I've had since I was 12 and it still works perfectly, so we aren't going to change any of it. And there's a very good reason why. Because all of these pieces are designed to simply fit over a gun that already exists. Effectively what we're doing is bringing video game cosmetics into airsoft, minus the weird bits like gambling for children. Now this is going to be a pretty niche way of mounting it because my gun is a little bit weird as it's so old, but it does have a load of handy little bolt holes so I can pretty much just screw the body kit on, which will come in a couple of different versions. For most people and most modern airsoft rifles, you will just be able to slide it over the top rail and that will be the easiest way of doing it. But there is also the version that I have used, so if you don't have that top rail, you can always find your own way of attaching it. It was at this point I needed a little engineering help, so naturally I got a German involved. Sebastian is a skilled technomancer in my community, and he's been helping me make this conversion kit a lot more universal and easier to use. He's even made a barrel that fits a tracer unit for a true lasgun experience. I mean, how cool is that? Guardsman doesn't just have his trusty flashlight, he also has his completely normal, totally standard issue combat knife. The blade is made out of a really soft printing filament from Verisure. It's called Verishure's TPU, and this stuff makes very, very soft prints, meaning no prison sentence for me if I decide to use it. And of course I have done some very thorough testing. This material is great, only problem is it's really expensive, so now I am officially poor. Send help. Once this knife was completed, I was suddenly overcome with this strange urge to stab things. So I made a cup of tea and apologised to the dog, which she was happy with. Back to the event, and unlike my shank escaping dog, my happiness had taken a bit of a turn, as I was missing what you could argue is the most important piece of equipment needed for recording such an event.
I thought I had it. I was so certain that I put it in the van. And yet, here we are with terrible footage. Congratulations.
You're supposed to make me feel better. I am your inner voice of logic and reason. That is not the relationship that we have. Well, if you're so logical, how do we fix this then? Simple. We go to another Airsoft event to get more footage with a GoPro head mount, and we don't tell the audience. Yeah, I think they're gonna know.
Go ahead. Whereabouts?
Way at the back, all the way at the back.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Designing the weapons for this was fairly complicated in places, but the easiest by far are the armour plates. For example, take the chest plate here. These just lock together with a simple pin-like mechanism with a little bit of give so you still have some mobility. And then to attach to your chest rig, you just put the strap right through the centre and they'll fit on quite nicely. The shoulder pieces had a little bit more to do with them, but again, not really. The only challenge here was print time because they're just pretty big. But again, just simple straps on the back, one on the arm and one on the rig, and that's pretty much it. As all of these are meant to be airsoft items, it's deliberately made so we can still be as agile as possible. It doesn't get in the way of us kicking in the heads of heretics. Everything I upload is going to be as customizable as possible, so none of it is going to really have any insignias on it. This is simply because with all the little symbols, I didn't really feel a need to reinvent the wheel, so I just used some files out there that are already pretty damn good. So I'll put credits here to the ones I used and links below so you can get them yourself.
You gotta go round, keep going. Keep going. Contact! Hit! Hold it.
Watch yourself, Guardsman.
I'm expendable, it's okay. No, that was close. Jesus, I could hear that. If you'd like to get your hands on this conversion kit, you can find the links in the description below, and at the start of this video there is a discount code hidden where you can get all of it for free. There was a lot of interest in the project. It turns out there's a big crossover between Warhammer nerds and Airsoft nerds, or as one guy I spoke to put it, there's just a big crossover between nerds and other nerds. I was deliberately trying to get this stuff to look a bit more weathered and damaged, however, it all survived too well. The most damaged part I had was this, and it's just the paint, and all that is where I crawled through a bush. This was the only casualty of the event. The reason this knife is in more pieces than is desired is due to the rod I put inside of it to give it a little bit more strength and to attach it to the hilt. This thing has caused it to create kind of like a pinch point between my leg and its crudely made holster. Because of this, it's just sheared off. If I was to be a lot less stingy than I actually am, I would have printed the entire thing in the same foaming filament and it would have been just fine. But I'm trying to save money. Look where I live. It's a shoebox. I can't afford this. As for the Lasgun, this thing it's brilliant. This thing had no issues at all. And surprisingly, even though it's 3D printed, and obviously the sights aren't going to be perfect, they actually worked quite well. And don't say I never looked down them.
I don't really look down on them, I'll be honest. But overall, this thing was fantastic. And one of the reasons that I got terrible footage from the event is I was just having too much fun running around with this thing. I felt like I was 10. It was brilliant. If you would like to support me, as money is now a problem after doing this project, my Patreon is also below, where you can get all of these files, plus any files I've done in the past and will do in the future, as well as just basically supporting me and a few other excellent perks. Even though this is a 3D printing channel, I'll take any opportunity to go outside and do bigger projects which involve a lot more movement and travel and me meeting people and doing more interesting things. So we're not always just me inside in my basement. My only hope is that this video does so well that I can do it all over again, but on a much bigger scale. But until that happens, this thing turned up the other day, and I think I'm probably gonna do something with this.